Alright, we're back. We're gonna work on the Super Duke today. Picked up some parts, and boy are they proud of those. So, singular bolt for the foot peg that I needed, filter kit, and 4 liters of oil. Brings you to a good grand total of $202. You'd think that these bikes are made out of moon rocks or something. So we're gonna open the garage up, make some room for it, and we'll jump in. Alright guys, so you can see I'm breaking loose the first filter on the bike, or screen, whatever you want to call it. The old ones were a 13 millimeter coming out. Going back in, they were a 19. So I'm going to pull this first one out and get it out of the way. And we'll move on to our second. It's right behind the oil filter location. I recommend putting a piece of paper, or tin foil something. I didn't have any tin foil, so I used the backing piece out of the oil filter kit just to keep it off my exhaust. Once we got that one out of the way, moved on to the oil filter itself. It's just 2 8mm bolts, and you'll see that those come right out. Alright, yeah, moving on to those 2 8mm. So once we get those backed out and set out of the way, we'll pull the oil filter right out. That little cover takes a little bit of pressure to get off just due to that O-ring that's in there, but once it's out, just use you a pick or something like that and you can pull the oil filter right out. Alright, now we can see all 3 drain spots, well, 2 drain spots in the oil filter here. Alright, so something I noticed between this new oil filter kit versus what came out. Let's move this stuff over. Is the old, I don't know if you want to call these filters or screens, whatever, they're actually 13 millimeter or a 1/2 inch, whatever they use, right? And the new ones, they're closer to a 19 mil. They appear to be the same though, so I don't know if the oil changes that were done on this bike previously, if they just cleaned and reused these filters. Doesn't look to be any trash in them. What I am noticing on these is that all of the plastic, see, this has a plastic surrounding on it, and if you look closely you can see what looks like the plastic surrounding there, but everything's gone. Same on this one. I guess these are sold in the kit, so I have to imagine that they want them replaced every time. Looks like maybe these wore their life. Either way, maybe it's an updated part, who knows. So we'll stick these back in the bike. They come pre-installed with your O-rings. That's going to pop on there, and then obviously this filter is going to go back in the way that we took it out. I just thought that was interesting that the newer kits were a different bolt head size, and that this plastic was here versus, like I said, these look like they've been beat. So we'll jump back over to the bike and we'll start putting the shit back in. Okay guys, so here we are sticking the new filter, or screen, whatever you want to call it, but sticking that new screen in, getting it started by hand, making sure that we're not cross-threading anything. Once I get that one snugged up, I'll move on to the back. And here we are inserting the back screen. And then here we are removing the old O-ring off of the oil filter cover and installing the new one. Then jump cut over to putting the filter in, and then another jump cut to putting that on, and the two 8mm bolts back in. Had to fight this thing a little bit to get it in place. Alright, so filters are replaced, pretty straightforward and easy. We'll start filling it with some oil, and then we'll do a cold start on it, cycle a little bit, and make sure we've got enough oil. Alright, now we'll just wait, we'll give it a second and see if the oil level creeps up, and if not, we'll top it off, get this to the proper point, and that'll be that. Alright, so here we are topping it off. It does take, I think, 3.8 liters. What they sell you is right at 4 liters, so you can pour the whole jug in there. It's not going to hurt anything. Alright guys, that's about as simple as it gets, especially for a KTM. I had a 625 SMC before this, and the oil change was way more painful. So if you like what you saw, give me a like and subscribe. Thank you.